One of the big topics in the world today is gratitude and how gratitude can rewire your brain. And I want to ask the deeper question, does this point to evidence of the fact that God actually exists? And how do we know that? Before I get into that, I want to share a quick clip from Andrew Huberman from the Huberman podcast. And he talks about the science of gratitude and some really interesting observations.
If I haven't mentioned a strong enough incentive for doing a regular gratitude practice until now, this is definitely the one to pay attention to, because what they found was a regular gratitude practice could shift the functional connectivity of emotion pathways in ways that made anxiety and fear circuits less likely to be active, and circuits for feelings of well-being, but also motivation, to be much more active. I find that remarkable and important because a number of people struggle with issues of motivation. A lot of people who are highly motivated also have issues with anxiety and fear. And so this study really points to the fact that it's a twofer. If you have a good gratitude practice and you repeat it regularly, you reduce the fear anxiety circuits, you increase the efficacy of the positive emotion feel-good circuits, and the circuits associated with motivation and pursuits are actually enhanced as well. So that's very strong incentive to have a gratitude practice and one that you use regularly. We'll talk about how.
So I'm not here to disagree or dispute what he's saying. I'm actually here to push a little further. Science has made the basic observation that we are hardwired physically to express gratitude. Now, isn't that interesting? The sad part is that the world of science and therapy in our culture kind of strips down the magic and transcendence and sense of mystery out of anything. And we are basically whittling down everything to therapeutic practices and policies that enhance your well-being. Like, we're just flattening everything out in this world out of mystery into protocols that make you feel better emotions. And I think we're missing the forest for the trees. What is this pointing to? We as human beings are hardwired to practice gratitude. Maybe that is the universe screaming at us saying this world is deeply personal, not just because it's an evolutionary byproduct, but because we are created by an infinite personal creator who loves us, knows us, and has hardwired us to express gratitude and love to him. And when we do that, we are functioning and restoring ourselves to a higher level and a fuller level of being human, right? Like, maybe this is evidence of the fact that this is what we're created for. C.S. Lewis has this beautiful quote that's somewhat related. He says, if I find in myself a hunger that this world cannot satisfy, I conclude only that I've been created for another world, or that this hunger that I have is satisfied in another world. Instead of flattening down to the therapeutic protocol, maybe we need to allow these facts of science to cast our gaze upward and think, man, why are we literally hardwired to express gratitude? Maybe there is a being, there is a God who loves us, personal being who has created us, and we are meant to express gratitude and love. And that's the calling of our lives. And if I'm just taking this as a practice of feeling better about my life, I'm missing the point. Right? It's like the science of nutrition saying if you get enough protein and carbs and whittling it down to powder and supplements versus the fact that we're created to eat delicious food, right? We're created to eat delicious food and enjoy it, and that nourishes our body. In the same way, you can apply this principle to the soul. The Bible shows us that ingratitude towards God is at the essence of our rebellion against him. In Romans chapter 1, Paul says, though we know God, we do not honor him as God or show gratitude to him, and we become futile in our thinking, and our foolish hearts are darkened. So literally what science already shows us, the Bible tells us too, that if we're not expressing gratitude towards God, we are degraded to a lower level of being human. And when we acknowledge God for who he is, come to him and express gratitude to him, we're restored in our humanity. This is also where I want to take it a little further and say, in order for you to experience deeper gratitude, you need to think beyond yourself. You need to push deeper, not just to think about gratitude, but to think about worship, right? You are created to be a worshiper of the almighty, glorious God. And a lot of times as Christians, we get stuck in this kind of superficial, shallow gratitude mode where we think that, man, I got to say thanks to God and I got to show gratitude to him, but I'm really not feeling it today, because our understanding of gratitude is all about all the things that are going on in my life and all the blessings that I'm kind of looking for to improve my life and feel better about my life. But I think the biblical picture of gratitude is fueled by real worship. That means that we acknowledge acknowledge God and his glory and his supremacy at the center of our lives. And I think that is what deepens our gratitude. That gratitude doesn't become something that we're looking like Pollyanna, kind of like looking around for the next blessing or a better way to look at this situation, but that we are learning, we are bringing the habit of coming to God and worshiping him and exalting him and his glory in our lives. Practically, that means as a Christian, if you are deepening your time in looking at God's glory and his character in Scripture, if you come to prayer with a focus, first of all, like in the Lord's Prayer, to honor God, to exalt him, to meditate on his beauty and glory and his unchanging nature and his divine power and his perfection and his faithfulness, when you dwell on the glory and centrality of God, and when that becomes a central part of your spiritual routine, that anchors your soul to his power and beauty. And then you start to see it more clearly everywhere you are in life. And then gratitude becomes just this natural byproduct that flows out of this awareness of the glory of God. So worship actually fuels deeper gratitude and more stable gratitude that isn't as much depending on little situations here and there and looking for positive affirmations or positive emotional boosts throughout the day. But worship is this sense of the transcendent power and weight of glory of God, and the fact that God is unchanging in his beauty and his glory, and he is present here with us. He is reigning in heaven today, and he is accomplishing his will, and nothing is going to change that fact. And the more that I learn to approach him and set my mind on him in my daily practices, as I'm driving to work, as I'm reading the Bible, as I'm praying, anchoring myself first of all to acknowledging and taking in, absorbing the power and supremacy of his character, and then going on to pray and to request and express and reflect on my needs, my emotional challenges, maybe my stressors in the day. I think we will find in that kind of routine that we have a deeper sense of awe and wonder, a deeper sense of stability, and a deeper sense of gratitude to God in all things. Hope that's helpful. Let me know down in the comments what has been helping you grow in gratitude. How has gratitude changed your life, and how have you learned to worship God in a deeper way in your life? Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you on the next video.